Peace, family, peace. We back. Peace, family. We back with another YouTube live real quick. 1 second. Let me send my alerts out real quick. Let me send my alerts out real quick, family. Give me like 1 minute. Give me 1 minute and we're gonna get started. Minute. Peace, family, peace. Hold on 1 second, family. Send these alerts out. Nah, brother said he thought he was late. Nah, you not late. I'm a little bit late tonight. You not late. The second. You did. Hold on 1 second. Okay, family. Okay, we back. All right. But peace, family. Peace, family. We back with another Saturday night live. We can go ahead and get this show on the road. Hope all the family's doing well. Okay, can y'all see me? Okay, cool, cool. I hope everybody is working on your multiple streams of income right now. Right now, hope everybody's getting to the bag. Hope everybody's doing well and good. Peace, family. Peace to Tisha Rod. Greetings to all the family. Hope everybody's, like I said, working on your multiple streams of income, your books, your stocks right now. Again, if you look at the stock market, that's something you need to do on the regular. Every morning when I wake up, I make sure I look at the stock market, see how the market is doing, see how everything else is doing. But we got to get to the bag. Stocks are going through the roof right now. People making thousands upon thousands of dollars on options right now. Forex. You need to be monetizing your content, because if you don't monetize it, other people will. And we're going to talk about that tonight. A prime example of that tonight being with the whole Daquan page situation, a popular Instagram page called Daquan. Family. Can y'all see me, fam? Hold on. Hold on, family. Stream is crazy. Can y'all see me? I hope y'all can see me. But anyways, like I said, it's very important that you get going with your multiple streams of income. That's very important. Very important in times like we're in right now. I hope that also combined with your economic prowess, that you're combining that with your military game. Your military game needs to be up. We saw with our brother Jacob Blake last week. It is open season on black people. And not only did you have Jacob Blake, you had a brother earlier this week. I think the brother's name was Dayon Keezy or something like that. I apologize. I'm mispronouncing the brother's name. He was shot and killed out there in LA. You said it's stuck? Okay, it's stuck. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it should be back right now. Sherrod, I think it should be back right now. But we saw with a brother Deshaun, he was gunned down this week. You did. It was another brother, peace God, peace White Ghost. It was another brother, Dion King, I believe, or Dion K, I believe his name was, out there in DC. He was only 18 years old. He was gunned down this week. So like I said, man, it's open season on black people right now. And that's why we got to be strong on all fronts. We got to be strong economically, militarily, and politically, all the way around the board. Powernomic game got to be tight right now. Got to be tight because, like I said, it's open season. It's open season on black people right now. That's why we got to be thorough and make sure we moving straight on all ends of the spectrum. You did. Make sure we moving straight on all ends of the spectrum, family. That's very, very important. You did. That's why when we talk about multiple streams of income, the reason why these cops, the reason why these race soldiers and other groups of people are able to pick on black people economically, we don't know how to use our forces. You see what I'm saying? They know when we talk about economic boycott, that's not going to happen. Why? Because black people, we're not going to stick with it long enough to happen. You see what I'm saying? We're not going to stick with it long enough to make it happen. We're not pooling our money together. Not pooling our money together. We got what, 25, I believe it's 25 to 30 black banks left. Many of them are under 100 million in assets, which is nothing for black banks. You dig? I believe only one of them has $1 billion in assets. So we got to step it up, man. We got to step it up on a group economic level. We got to step it up on a military level. Got to get your gun game popping. If you can't have a gun, you need to have some pepper spray, something for these race soldiers. You dig? Got to have something on all fronts. But before we get into, like I say, before that as well, I want to talk about, it was an article that came out, family. It came out earlier this week out in California. California passed a bill to study reparations. You did. They passed a bill out there in California earlier this week to study reparations. And I don't want the family to fall for these con games. We got to stop falling for these con games as a family. They passed the bill to study reparations. Keyword, there is nothing to study about reparations. Either you're going to give it to us or you're not going to give it to us. If you're not going to give it to us, okay, we can take different routes. The studying thing, that's a nothing burger, family. We got to stop falling for that. We got to stop falling for that. This whole thing that they're going to study reparations out in California. California is a democratic state. That's another nothing burger. And also with the whole, they're going to study it. They're putting in a diversity bill. And we got to also stop settling for that because that's not tangibles to members of the black community. First of all, when they do these diversity bills, many times they're talking about minority diversity bills. Now, who are minorities? Remember, minorities are Chinese folks, Arabs, members of the community, Latinos, all people who can identify as white at any time when they want. And many of them do identify as white. Remember, also white women are considered minorities. They're considered a marginalized or a minority group. We can't keep falling for that because you had Negroes out there in California talking about, yeah, we want diversity at these corporations. That's nothing. That's a nothing burger. That's symbolism. That's symbolism. What's going to happen is you're going to fight for that diversity and then they're going to go give it to Su Young, a member of the Chinese American community. You did? They're going to give it to Lil Jose, a member of the Mexican community. And they'll call that diversity. And they might hire one brother or one sister. That's enough. That's not reparations. We don't need them studying reparations anymore, family. You did? That's a nothing burger. A nothing burger. You had corporations like Encobra that's been studying reparations since the 90s. You see what I'm saying, family? They've been studying reparations in the 90s. We don't need no more studying. The studying days are over. Y'all rocking with me on that? The studying days are over. All these bills to study, that's nothing. Okay? That's nothing. You have great elders like Dr. Claude Anderson who released books like Black Labor, White Wealth back in the 90s that broke down the system. What do you need to study? Did slavery happen or did it not happen? That should be the end of the studying. Did slavery happen? Okay, it happened. Now let's give the repayment to the descendants of slavery. Did Jim Crowism happen or did it not happen? It did. Okay, let's give the tangible descendants, the victims of Jim Crowism. Did mass incarceration happen or did it not? Plain and simple. That should be the end of the studying. The only thing we need to sit down at the table is come up with a date when the money is going to be dispersed. And we need to come up with how much is going to be dispersed. You see what I'm saying? That's the only thing we need to talk about. It's not a matter of if something happens that requires reparations. That's not a matter. You dig? That's not a matter. It's just a matter of cutting that check at the end of the day. So again, and they release and they've been doing stuff like this, over the last few months. Every time one of our brothers and sisters, like Philando Castile or Michael Brown, or even recently with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, they always start this reparations talk among on a small local level, and they're always talking about we're going to study it. We're going to study it. Out there in Carolina, recently, out there in Carolina, they talked about, yeah, we approve reparations and we're going to give more small black business loans. That's not reparations. Loans you have to pay back. Loans you have to pay back. Just another way to get black people in debt. That's not reparations. They're talking about, oh, we're going to hold business class for black entrepreneurs. No, we don't need that. We just need you to cut that check. We need the capital. So we need tangibles. You see what I'm saying? No more symbolism. They love giving us symbolism and this inclusion type thing, and we not going for it no more. Like, I was tuned in to the Monica Brandy. I saw a little bit of the Monica Brandy, and on there they had Kamala Harris. And Kamala Harris, again, we've gotten on her several times before. She was up there dancing and shaking her butt at the little versus battle that they did on Instagram with Brandy and Monica. And this the thing, Kamala always pops up when it's time to do something symbolic for black people, when it's time to dance to the music. Remember, she was talking about in college, she was listening to Tupac and Biggie, and it turns out Tupac and Biggie weren't even out during that time she was in school. Did they? So she's always dancing and symbolic, but yet when we ask Kamala the tough questions, yet when it's time to get some of our elders in front of her, that's going to ask the tough questions to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they want to interview Cardi B then. You dig? They know where to be found then. Then when you ask them, hey, Kamala, what are you going to do specifically for black people? Hey, Joe Biden, what are you going to do specifically for black people? Then they know where to be found. Oh, the interview got to be cut short. They do a little 10-minute interview. You see what I'm saying? Or you do like Kamala talking about, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people. Remember Kamala said that last year when she was running? But yet every time it's a versus battle, something that you can somewhat get clout, it's a lot of black people going to be there, because I think that Brandy versus Monica versus thing, that broke a whole bunch of records for Instagram. It was like 1.2 or 3 or 4 million people watching on Instagram Live. So that broke a whole bunch of records. Every time it's black people in a certain place, now you want to come in there and dance and get some type of symbolism with them. No. What are you going to do about cutting that check? That's what we need you to show up at. When it comes time to cut that check, that's when we want to see your face. When it's come time to do something tangible for black people. So we got to be very careful about that. We also got to be very careful about these non-foundational black Americans. This is why we're real strict when we say foundational black Americans deserve reparations, because you have a lot of these buffer classes. You have a lot of these immigrants who come in and act as shields for white supremacy. You did? Go ahead and like the video right now, family. We got 8 people in here. Go ahead and like the video right now. If you haven't already, like the video right now, family. Do me a quick solid and like the video. But like I was saying, we got a lot of members of the buffer class around here. Let me show you this video. This dropped earlier this week. Shout out to the brother Tariq Nasheed. This is one of, let me see real quick. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay. This is one of these non-foundational black Americans. And this is why we have to be real strict on reparations, because it's Negroes like this who will try to get in the way. Listen to this.
Here we go again. People are not going to want to hear this, but it has to be told. The truth has to be told. I have experienced more prejudice from black Americans than I have racism from Caucasians. In my 7 years of living in the States, I have had terrible experiences with black Americans showing prejudice. Even my own son, prejudice at the park when he tried to play with some kid he saw. The mother literally yelled at my son, and he was only about 3. I was standing right next to him, but she yelled at him. I was like, really? So, yes, you know what? I'm well within my rights to feel the way I feel. There you go.
Okay. Okay, family. Let me get back to myself. Okay, like I said, this is why we have to be very with the terminology. This is why we got to be very right in the zack with the terminology. Because see, these non-foundationals, they get over here, not all. Again, we're talking about the coon class. And I want to be clear on that because every time we start calling out these immigrant coons, a lot of brothers and sisters who might come from immigrant backgrounds, who might be riders, get offended. No, we have to call out the coon class. You did? Because it's coons like this who try to justify the system of white supremacy. They act as obstacles every time we start giving them that work. Yeah, she's Nigerian. Yeah, she's Nigerian. You dig? And she, by the way, she has a white, I guess I don't know if it's her boyfriend or husband. She's got a white husband or boyfriend. So they have a biracial son. So that's why she's up here talking about, hey man, I get more racism from black Americans. And let me talk to many of my non-foundational brothers and sisters who come from immigrant backgrounds. This a lot. A lot of y'all get over here and you think name calling, they start to notice a lot of their examples they use. She talked about her son was at a playground and another black parent yelled at her son. Black parents do that all the time. That when she wasn't looking at your son saying, hey man, he's a Nigerian kid. I don't want to, I'm yelling at him for this, I'm yelling at him for that. You did? We get on that. I see a lot of people too, these immigrants, they come and go to school here and they talk about when I was in high school, they used to make fun of me. They used to make fun of my accent. Brother, if you go to a black school, anybody who went to a black high school, anybody who went to a black middle school, everybody gets roasted in school. Everybody gets roasted. It ain't, oh, we just picking on the Nigerian kid. Everybody gets roasted. That's part of our culture. That gives you in. I see a lot of brothers and sisters always saying, oh, they used to pick on me in high school. They used to call me African booty scratcher. They get all this. They get all in their feelings. That's part of our culture. Everybody knows that in high school. You get roasted in high school. Everybody gets that work. And if you a wolf, if you a shark, you start giving other people that work. That's just part of the game. It ain't nothing personal with that. But other groups, you come over here, and because you've already been established, many of your parents and your grandparents telling you, oh, these black Americans, don't hang out with them. No, don't hang out with those Akadas. You already got it in your head. You got this personal vendetta. So moment somebody say something, some moment somebody joking with you, moment somebody say something to your kid that you don't like, now it's, oh, we hate Nigerians. We hate immigrants. Black Americans are racist. No, stop. Notice all of that, family. All of that has to deal with name calling. It's always name calling. They can't say anything tangible that black Americans have done to them that's racist. Non-foundational black Americans. Because remember, when you come over here, first of all, in the 60s, it was black Americans who were fighting and dying and marching in the 60s to get some of those immigrant codes lifted. You dig? Because remember, it was a racist president in the 20s by the name of Calvin Coolidge who put in a lot of those immigration acts that banned a lot of immigration from Africa and Chinese, in China and Asia, over in that sort. It was black Americans in the 60s who, through all their marching and civil rights movement, got those lifted. So the reason why many of you are over here and able to come over here is because of black Americans. Many of the rights and the tangibles, remember, when y'all come over here, you move into black neighborhoods. You get black business. You dig? It was our ancestors who built this country economically so you can come over here with 2 cents and build your little Nigerian restaurant, build your little Jamaican food spot, and have support. Notice, they can't say anything tangible. Yeah, they can't say anything tangible that black Americans do to non-foundational black Americans. All it is name calling. When I came over here, you call me an African booty scratcher. Brother, we talk about everybody over here. That's just a part of the culture. Like I say, anybody who go to a black school, No, we call it Joan and a roasting down here. You're gonna get Joan and you're gonna get roasted on. That's just part of the culture. That's just part of the culture, bro. That ain't got nothing to do with you Nigerian or we were picking on you. Everybody gets that work. And the moment you get sad or the moment you start getting in your feelings about it, that's when it get worse. Y'all know that's what we do. We joke. We joke. You dig? This is why I mainly focus on Pan-Africanism. Again, when it comes to Pan-Africanism, and I'll always say this, when it comes to Pan-Africanism, family, it has to be respect first. Because a lot of brothers bring that up. Every time we start calling out these immigrant coons, hey, brother, Pan-Africanism. See, it's only Pan-Africanism when it's time to get tangibles. When Negroes smell reparations, when we pushing for reparation, hey, what about your Jamaican brother? No, remember you weren't black. You call a Dominican brother a black, he get offended. But when we start talking about tangibles and we start talking about, hey man, we getting black business loans, black this, black now, you black when it's beneficial. This is why I always say it got to be about respect first. You have to come over here and respect the black people who built this country. And that goes for anywhere. That don't just go for immigrants coming to America. That goes for black Americans when you go anywhere else. When you go to Jamaica and places like that, when I go there, you have to respect the foundational Jamaicans, black Jamaicans that built that country. You dig? When I go there, you have to pay homage to Queen Nanny of the Maroons. You dig? Pay homage to Marcus Garvey. No other group allows you to come to their home country and disrespect them. You did? No other group. Because what this coon is doing, she's justifying basically the killing of black people all over the place. She's basically saying, really, black racism is worse than white racism. And whenever they talk about black racism, like I say, family, whenever they talk about black racism, it's name calling. That's all it is with black people. Even when you look at white people, I get more racism from black people than I do other white people. What racism are you talking about? Tyrone called me a cracker. That's their racism. It's just name calling. It's no power behind that. Nobody's dying behind black racism. You're not deprived of resources and capital behind black racism. So let's stop. Let's stop. That's a nothing burger. That's a false equivalence. You trying to compare hundreds of years of redistributing all this country's wealth, enslaving people, genocide of people, rape of people, robbing them of all their knowledge of self, and comparing it to name calling. Family. Don't let them fool you with that. Don't let them fool you with that. You dig? Don't let them fool you with that. Shout out to Dante Bell. My Instagram is mansamusa_13 at mansamusa_13. But most people, they follow me on the Voice of the Ancestors page. So at Voice of the Ancestors. You dig? Yeah, it gotta be respect first. What she's doing over here. Anyways, now, yeah. Again, it's so bad. You get so much racism for black Americans. The reason why you even are able to marry a white zaddy or have you a white husband is because of black Americans. Because of the integration we fought so hard to get. Because back in the 60s, you might have got lynched for that. You dig? This is why we got to be real specific with the words we use when we're talking about our tangibles. We can't allow any tangibles to go to these coons. You dig? We can't allow any tangibles to go to these coons. Yeah, it's a false equivalent. Yeah, smash that like button, family. Smash that like button as well. If you're on here, make sure you smash that like button. Yeah, we're going to start, but we're going to start tightening up the code. And speaking of code, family, I want to talk about a little bit of pimping the culture. And that kind of ties into it. These other groups, they get over here and they like to pimp the culture that black people, foundational black Americans built. They get over here and they try to embrace and push this racist stereotype of black people here and things of that nature. They like to pimp the culture. And a classic example of this is what we saw earlier this week. Now, if you don't know, there's a page on Instagram called Daquan. It just sounds like black exploitation to begin with. It's this page on Instagram. Let me pull it up. Hold on one second, family. Let me pull it up. It's this page on Instagram called Daquan. Now, this is the page right here, family. As you can see, 15 million followers. A lot of people follow this page. This page is pretty much it's nothing but piggybacking off black culture. You know, everything on this is pretty much some positive stuff, but pretty much everything is just a lot of memes and pushing black culture, a lot of stuff catered to a black audience. And if you notice in the caption, it got Ethiopian. You know, Ethiopian. A lot of people thought it was black guy run this page, but comes to find out, it's not a black guy who runs this page. Let me go ahead and switch screens real quick. 1 second, family. Let me go ahead and switch screens. I'm getting used to the technology on this streaming platform, so I apologize. 1 second. A lot of people were upset though. A lot of people were upset. This Instagram page, this is on Yahoo. This got released today. This Instagram page sold reportedly for $85 million. It sold reportedly for $85 million. It turns out this is the guy who runs the page. This is the guy. His name is Barak Shariga or something like that. He sounds like an Arab guy, I guess. But Barak Sharika, whatever the dude's name is, but he's a CEO and co-founder of IMGN Media. You dig? And a lot of people were upset, and rightfully so. A lot of people were upset, and rightfully so. This is the dude behind this Daquan page. And this is what I talk about, family. It's a lot of black facing going on. This is the new age of blackface, family. This is the new age of blackface. These Daquan pages. Let me go back to the full screen. This is the new age of blackface, family. This is the new age of pimping the culture. You see, a lot of these pages, they post a lot of blackety black stuff, but they're really run by agents. And notice these pages who post a lot of this blackety black stuff, many times it's nothing positive. Many times it's nothing positive. It's pushing the black stereotype. It's pushing the black stereotype. You see what I'm saying, family? And we got to be on the lookout for this. This is why I always tell the family on Instagram, because I see a lot of brothers and sisters do this on Instagram. You start arguing with these Instagram pages. Stop arguing with these random Instagram pages, family. Again, stop arguing with, first of all, I don't argue on Instagram in general, because I'm an author, I'm a scholar. I have books. So if you want to argue, let's argue in the scholarship format. You did? Let me see what you published and then put your sources behind that publication. That's what real scholars do. You did? Stop, first of all, even if you engage in Instagram conversations, stop arguing with people who have no profile picture. First of all, or they have random profile pictures. Stop arguing with these pages with a random picture. They got P. Diddy on the page and then 3 other random pictures on that page. Most time that's an agent, that's a troll page. We got to be on the lookout for this. You did? Stop arguing with these pages who you look on their profile, they following 7,000 people, but only 3 people following them. That's a troll page. They're meant to troll. And we see a lot of this. We see a lot of this. We see a lot of people who try to use some of our great ancestors. You know, I got a page that always on my page trolling called Malcolm X something. But I know it's an agent behind that page. Every time he comment on my page is something negative. And I want to let you know, these Daquan pages out here, it's a lot more of those. It's a lot of these pages who post all this blackety black stuff, who post all these black folks fighting, black folks doing ratchet stuff, but it be immigrants behind it, or it be agents, white folks running it. You see what I'm saying? Running it. And not only running it, this Daquan page is pushing just basically black stereotypes everywhere. Nothing really positive, just a bunch of ratchet black stuff. On the pages, nigga this, nigga that. Every now and then they'll put something positive. They'll put a RIP, our brother Chadwick Boseman. But mainly pushing the same stereotype. And as you can see, has a huge following. They just sold for 85 million. You dig? So you have non-black people running these pages, influencing our babies out there. Because like I said, I'm sure it's a lot of of our babies in the community who followed that page, and then selling it, and then selling it, family. This is why, again, you don't argue with these people. Why you gonna say, yeah, running a scam? That is a scam. That's blackface. That's the 2020 version of blackface. And in the caption, he's got Ethiopian. Now, I was told by somebody that the previous dude or the originator of the page was Ethiopian. But obviously, the dude who running it now is not Ethiopian. Obviously, the dude who running it now is not Ethiopian. So again, that's another con game, family. And we got to be on the lookout for that. That's part of pimping the culture that a lot of people like to do. A lot of people like to do. They'll push these stereotypes and try to act like it's black culture, black folks fighting, bunch of black folks doing ratchet stuff. Do you see what I'm saying? And portray it as black culture. Meanwhile, it's white people running it. It's white people running it. You don't never see no white people running a black book club page. You don't never see none of these agents running a black empowerment page. It's always the racial stereotype thing. So again, this is the new version of blackface, and we got to be careful of this, especially to my brothers who like to argue on Instagram. Stop doing that. That's time wasting. Never argue on Instagram, family. Never argue with folks on Instagram, especially these pages, because they'll purposely come in on these pages. They'll purposely come in like they do it to me all the time and say something just stupid. Like I could be talking about what we talking about now, this Daquan page, and somebody will come in, one of these so-called black pages, they'll have a picture of Malcolm X in their profile, and they'll come out and say the Egyptians were white, just to trigger you so you'll go back and forth with them. Stop falling into that con game, family. Trolling, the main key of trolling, just like with the Tekashi 6ix9ine, the main key of trolling is attention. They want attention. And how do they get attention? They get attention through time wasting. It's not about being factual. It's not about being right. It's about attention and making you waste your time. Trolls and coons and agents, they're like vampires. They feed off your blood. They feed off your energy. They want you to give them energy. That's why Tekashi's empowered by this type of stuff. Rats like Tekashi 6ix9ine, people like him, they get empowered when people are always talking about they gonna hurt them. They feed off that energy. He gets a hard on running around, going to black neighborhoods, going to the so-called hood and just trolling. Going in front of our brother Nipsey's mural out there in Crenshaw and just trolling. They get a hard on about that stuff. The best thing you can do is be silent. And when you see him, green light. When you see him, green light. The best thing you can do is not even feed into it. Block troll pages. Don't be afraid to use that block button. I use it all the time. Don't even feed into that energy, family. And then somebody said, what about these babies and children? Over 1 million of our children is kidnapped and put into sex trade. Now they are finding them. Harris and Junker have not mentioned anything. Yeah, man, that's real too. That's real too. I heard it was a truck out here, and I haven't been able to confirm the source. That's why I haven't talked about it. But I heard there was a truck out here in Georgia where they found a truck full of kids. So sex trafficking is definitely real. It's so much stuff going on, but that's why it always comes back to the beginning. And this is why whenever we start talking about economics and military, notice it's only 11 people in here. Whenever we talk about real serious stuff, now if I was to put on this caption, man, F Tariq Nasheed, man, when I see him, I'm gonna fight him. If I was to put that, it would be 200 people in here right now. We love drama. We love the drama now. You see what I'm saying? But when we talking about serious stuff, hey man, our children are being kidnapped, X, Y, and Z. Hey man, we need to get our economic game up, military game up. Niggas, man, I ain't finna tune into that shit, man. I don't want to hear that. Because that's gonna require me to do something. You see what I'm saying? That's gonna require me to do something. Say 59 kids. Yeah. Like 59 kids, yeah. So like I say, that's real. We got to start being tangible. It all goes back to economics and military science. That's where we at right now. Babies being trafficked, people being trafficked because they know black community, we're tolerant of it. We're not going to do anything but cry and complain and post something. You see what I'm saying? If that's true. If that's true. Somebody said 59 kids to be exact. If that's true. You dig? But just because it ain't on the media don't mean it's not true. Because we know they don't post stuff like that. East Indians are great at running scams. They'll call and play like they the IRS. Yeah, man. It's crazy. That's why when they get on the phone call, like a dude, a dude tried me a couple months ago. He had hacked my computer or something. And he was like, I gotta call this company in order to unlock your computer. I'm like, nigga, I turned my computer off and turned it back on. The shit was working fine. You know what I'm saying? He was an East Indian dude. I'm like, nigga, if you don't shut up and make me some curry goat, nigga, I'm not finna fall for that. You dig? You don't go on somewhere and make me some curry goat. You dig? Let's stop playing. No, Dante Bell, I'm not saying you're trolling. But Dante Bell, what are you talking about, Dante Bell? Dante Bell, what are you talking about? I'm not talking about you. Yeah, we have to protect ourselves. Absolutely. Absolutely. We have to protect ourselves on all fronts, both externally and internally. Just like, something else I want to talk about today. I saw that Kanye West. Who saw that Kanye West interview, family? Who saw that Kanye West interview with our brother Nick Cannon? Let me see what. Hold on one second. Yeah. Who saw that Kanye West interview on Cannon Class? And that's something else I'm talking about. This whole thing of pimping the culture. This whole thing of just deny and deflect when it comes to black folks. I watched the Kanye and they said it was only part one. So I don't think part two has come out yet. And I guess I'll watch part two as well. But what saddens me about many of our people is we're too forgiving and forgetting. We forgive too much and we forget too much. You dig? When coons come in our community and they say very disrespectful things, they come out and they say slavery is a choice. When they come out and say many of our great ancestors, like Queen Mother Harriet Tubman, she didn't free anybody. She just helped them to work for other white people. Like Harriet Tubman was making deals. Understand how disrespectful that statement is? Like she was making deals with black folks to send them to other white people to work. You did, which was BS, which is bullshit. You see what I'm saying? Too many times we allow these people to come back into black society and we give them a platform. And one thing I noticed about Kanye is a great example of studying what cooning is. He's a great example of that. What do I mean by that? If you watch his interview on Cannon's Class, make sure you go watch that interview. Make sure you go watch that interview on Cannon's Class with Kanye West. One thing you'll notice about Kanye is very intellectual. Kanye is very well spoken. Kanye knows business. He knows X, Y, and Z, which is why I always tell Negroes, ain't nothing wrong with Kanye. Stop falling for that con game. Go look at these interviews. Nothing is wrong with Kanye. Because Negroes, every time he comes out his mouth and he says some coonery and buffoonery, you got black folks who come out and say, man, Kanye, he mentally ill. He got mental health issues. Nothing's wrong with Kanye. Kanye is a billionaire. He said that over and over again in the interview. Ain't nothing wrong with Kanye when it comes to marketing, when it comes to business, when it comes to cutting up these ugly clothes and selling them for $900. Nothing's wrong with Kanye then. You dig? Kanye is talking about he's building his own neighborhood out there in Wyoming. He's talking about partnerships with Gap and how many people he put on. Kanye was even in an interview. Kanye was even talking about the racism of the early days of Planned Parenthood, which he was factual on, talking about Margaret Sanger. You dig? He was even talking about that. Nothing's wrong with Kanye. Kanye understands exactly what he's doing. What Kanye does is he plays both sides of the spectrum because we allow him to. Because as soon as I looked at the interview, went in the comment section, you had all these black folks talking about, man, Kanye's so deep, man. The only reason y'all be talking about Kanye cancel and Kanye coon is because y'all just don't understand him. Notice that, family. A lot of coonery and buffoonery. Every time Negroes like Kanye start cooning and buffooning, you always got Negroes talking about some y'all just don't understand Kanye, which is BS. Family. You always got that. Man, y'all don't understand Kanye. Kanye can call out the racism of Planned Parenthood because he's on there acting like he's an activist. Talking about, man, more black babies are killed during abortion. That's cool, Kanye, but you also justified the genocide of our people during the enslavement process. Do you realize how many people were killed during enslavement, Kanye? That's my question to him. You dig? When you said slavery was a choice, like slavery was just another job. If we just wanted to stop being slaves, we could have just quit our job and chilled somewhere. You dig? You can't condone the genocide by saying slavery is a choice, but then you want to be an activist and talk about how racist Planned Parenthood is. You can't play both sides. I'm strict on that. Kanye's been canceled for me. He's been a coon for me. During times of war, you can't have somebody who says they're going to fight for the enemy and fight against you. But then if I feel like it that day, I'm going to fight for you. No. Pick a side. Pick a side. You did? Because I don't want to have my guard down when you come around. If you're going to lay with the white folks, if you're going to be up there hugged up and sauced up with Trump, you did? If you're going to be out here talking about hip hop, because he was out here talking about hip hop culture at one point was demonic and things of that nature, and Jesus is king and Jesus this. If you want to do that, Kanye, do that, but stick with it. Don't all of a sudden now you come back on the black platforms like I got on last year. He was out there playing at Howard University, playing at these HBCUs. Now he's on Cannon's class, which pretty much has a black platform, even though a lot of people have cut off Nick Cannon. You did. Now you up here smiling and talking about, hey man, this the new age of slavery. No, Kanye. You said slavery was a choice. You said slavery was a choice. Don't try to come and talk about racism now. You condoned the biggest racist act. You said it was a choice. You disrespected many of our ancestors. And another thing we got to do, this is my brother Nick Cannon, because Nick Cannon has been doing this a lot too. Ever since members of the Jewish community called him out. Hold on one second. I like the video too while you at it, family. Like the video if you haven't already. But ever since members of the Jewish community called him out, Nick has been babysitting his guests. This is another thing we got to stop doing. If you're going to invite one of these people who have said disrespectful things about members of the black community and our descendants and our culture and called us out, call them out on those questions. You see what I'm saying? In the part, he never made him justify his slavery was a choice. You dig? Stop babysitting these coons when they come on your platform. If you're going to invite them on there, challenge them on the tough questions. Don't be smiling and cockeying and kikiing with Kanye. You did? We get this whole thing. We get in front of people who are so-called celebrities and big time. And Nick is a celebrity in his own right. Then we start babysitting them. At least from what I seen in part one. Now, I don't know what he asked them in part two because part two ain't dropped yet. You did? But we get this whole thing. We want to start babysitting them. We want to start smiling in their face, asking them little questions. And Kanye's, he's really just on there ranting a lot. Sounds deep. See, a lot of this just sound deep to Negroes who don't know nothing. Every time Kanye say, hey, man, they don't like when black people speak up. Negroes, oh, Lord, man, Kanye deep, man. Y'all start with that. You dig? You got to start asking some of these coons the tough questions. So that's a great study. Like I said, ain't nothing wrong with Kanye. Kanye can talk about business. Kanye can talk about this and that. Kanye plays both sides. That's strategic. That's strategic. And notice every time he does this, every time he says something dumb about black people, he comes out with a big adventure or something like that. He's either about to drop an album. He said slavery was a choice. Then he was meeting with Trump. Then he dropped his album. Then later that year, he went on an HBCU tour. You dig? Or this time he said about what he said about Queen Mother Harriet Tubman. And then he's running for president. Things of that nature. So this is strategic, family. This is strategic. You dig? This is strategic at the end of the day. So don't fall for the coonery buffoonery and stop allowing these people to say one good thing. And now all of a sudden, everything they said in the past is forgiven. We're not doing that no more. You did? Yeah, you said nothing. Mario Hancock said nothing wrong with that boy. That boy is shooting his shot like everybody else. Point blank, period, man. Point blank, period. Nothing's ever been wrong with Kanye. Nothing's ever been wrong with Kanye. And that's why I say this is why we got to get right at the end of the day. This is why we got to get right at the end of the day. We cutting off coonery and buffoonery. It's no more playing both sides. Like White Flame always say, my brother White Flame in the chat room, you know, it's too many of our brothers and sisters who have been lost to coonery. If we're going to be serious about revolution, family, we got to start checking these coons at the door. Once you violate against the black community, I don't care what you say after that. You can come out and say white supremacy is real. I don't care. Cool. Speak for yourself. You getting cut off. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Because like I said, with our ancestors, Fred Hampton, killed by a coon, William O'Neill, Eugene Roberts, who was the head of Malcolm X's security detail, a coon. You see what I'm saying? Many people around revolutionary circles like Didi Kamati, killed by a coon. He was turned in by the coon to the British. You see what I'm saying? Patrice Lumumba, killed by a coon for some money. I think they gave that coon over there who was running the Democratic Republic of Congo, I think they gave him like $50,000. You did? Killed one of the greatest revolutionaries in our history, Patrice Lumumba. Nat Turner, Denmark Vesey, slave rebellions that were stopped, that were halted. Slave rebellions that might have changed the course of history as we know it. Who knows what would happen if Denmark Vesey's slave rebellion had went on? You see what I'm saying? He had over 1,000 free black people. Who knows what would have happened? But a coon took him down. Somebody who was playing both sides took him down. I believe somebody in Nat Turner's camp was originally a part of the rebellion and then got scared and started playing both sides and went back and told white folks. You did? That's what happened in that rebellion. Negroes playing both sides. Either you with us or you not. Plain and simple. Too many cases that we see. Too many cases that we see, family. And the story is on and on and on and on and on. And I could go for days. Like I say, Dessalines and many more who were taken down by coons. They were all up in the Nation of Islam, agents and informants. You see what I'm saying? And the fact that you be selling out, we got Negroes out here selling out O'Neill, William O'Neill, who took down Fred Hampton, who was one of the head of the Black Panther Party. I think he got like, he had like an armed robbery charge. He had like a little petty carjacking charge. And so in order not to serve a little year he was going to serve, a little 2 years he was going to serve, he decided to take down the whole damn organization that was meant to empower him. This is what I'm talking about. This is why we don't play with people like Kanye. We don't fall for them con games. All this intellectual prowess, what you just showed us, Kanye, is nothing's wrong with you. You're saying what you want to say. Because like I say, with these coons, notice the coons like Kanye, they never say the Holocaust was a choice. They never say anything about the Jewish community. You did? They never say anything about that. Never say anything about that. They said they never tell the Japanese community you need to get over Nagasaki. They never say that. Those bombings that happen. Nobody ever says that. They never say you need to get over it. They never call their culture demonic. They never make fun of their ancestors. You don't hear Kanye saying, man, Anne Frank ain't nothing. Anne Frank just wrote a book. You'll never hear them say that because she knows it would be backlash. He's very intelligent. He's very intelligent. You did? But coons make strategic moves. Remember, a coon is somebody. A coon is somebody who, out of disdain or out of, let me see how to say this, out of hate for the black community, does something to harm the black community, but not because they're unintelligent. They're not intelligent. Not because of that at all. They're doing it for tangibles. They're doing it for trinkets. They're doing it for their own personal gain. Remember, these coons are not dumb. They're not dumb. They're some of the most intelligent people you're ever going to meet. You did? Candace Owens, very smart. Very smart, but she's a coon. She uses her smartness to coon. Can speak very well, but she uses it to coon. You did? Plain and simple. Said William Cooper committed suicide after that. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, got Fred in his sleep. They got Fred in his sleep. Like I say, man, it's we got to take this coonery and buffoonery serious. Now that's why I always bring up the Haitian Revolution with Mackendall. Remember 1804 Haitian Revolution. The first thing they did was kill the coons. The first thing they did. The first thing they did was got rid of the coons. Mackendall started poisoning them because they said, listen, we would never have a revolution without that. Because out there in the Caribbeans, they have a more so of a racial caste system. See, in America, in the United States, I should say, if you were mulatto, if you were biracial, you were still on the plantation. There really wasn't no biracial slave owners like that. You see what I'm saying? If you were biracial, you were on a plantation. Because remember, over here in the United States, they said 1/18th Negro blood makes you a Negro. So white folks over here, they didn't play that. They didn't play that. But out in the Caribbean, they kind of had caste systems. And they kind of did that around the world. You go to places like India, they still had these racial caste systems where if you're a light skinned or a biracial black person, you can kind of be considered on it. Your white father still claims you. You see what I'm saying? So Mackendall said, listen, we got to get rid of these coons first. This little mulatto class that keeps oppressing people. This mulatto class that, yeah, technically they are black with us, but they don't believe they're black. They believe they're better than us. They said, nah, we got to get rid of them first. You did? We got to get rid of them first, family. So that's something, like I say, we need to learn from. We need to have a strong, united front. That means we got to cancel out a lot of people. It is what it is, but we got to get on code. We got to be on code. You did? Yeah, tokenism. Yeah. Like I said, they do it for trinkets. Coons do what they do for trinkets. And many even really any big trinkets. Remember, Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk, by the way, they just got fired from Fox News not too long ago. Diamond and Silk, they had a pay stub from Trump. I think Trump gave them like $3,000, something like. They up there cooning and buffooning for $3,000. They don't even really get no tangibles. They don't get $1 million checks. Ain't like they get $1 million checks. Remember Candace Owens, she's been doing all that cooning and buffooning. They wouldn't even let her speak at the Republican National Convention. She was dying. She wanted to speak at the Republican National Convention. They said, nah, we don't need a Negro right now. We don't need a Negro right now. You did? Because Republicans are hardcore white supremacists. They're hardcore white supremacists. Remember, you got unapologetic white supremacists and you got passive aggressive white supremacists. The unapologetic ones, they just want to be able to come out and say, nigga, these are the Trump supporters. They want to make great again. You dig? They want to keep the Confederate statues. And then you got the unapologetic. Then you got the passive aggressive, the Democrats. They'll tap dance with you. They'll play the saxophone. They'll go on Breakfast Club. They'll do a whole bunch of symbolic things. But really, they won't do anything tangible. Their end goal is the same as the Republicans. All they argue about, and I always tell black people this, the Republicans and Democrats, they argue on how to implement white supremacy. That's their whole goal, family. Don't get fooled. One wants to implement white supremacy a certain way, the other wants to implement it another way, but the goal is still the same. Never forget that. The goal is still the same, family. Yeah. So you said Farrakhan said when get a nation of our own, we will deal with the traitors. Absolutely. That's real. You have to deal with the traitors, family. Get out that mindset, black folks. Listen to me. We got to get out this mindset that every time we call out coons, it's divisive. Get out this unity mindset. You can't unify with a coon. That is dangerous. That is dangerous. You wouldn't get in a bed with a snake. You will make sure that snake is out your bed. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't get in a bed with a self-hating Negro because that self-hating Negro is liable to kill you in the middle of the night. You see what I'm saying? You can't unify with everybody. It takes a small group. And the good thing about that is it don't take everybody. It takes a small group of us on code. History tells us that. History tells us that, family. Whenever we're on code, whenever a small group of us on code, we do big things. You did? Whenever a small group of us on code, we do big things. 1804 revolution down there in Haiti. You did? The Mau Mau out there in Kenya. You see what I'm saying? Even going back to ancient times, when you had Queen Amarinis of Kush, Look up Queen Amarinis, the one-eyed queen, how she drove the Romans out of that Sudan, Ethiopian area. The one-eyed queen of Cush, Amarinis, she took a small group of like-minded people on code and they defeated the Romans. The Romans at the time had a standing army of over 1 million people. She made them sign treaties because they were on code. She said, listen, the price of freedom is death. She sent the Roman general at the time, it might have been Caesar. It might have been Caesar at the time. She sent him a bouquet of golden arrows. And she said, listen, take this as a token of a treaty. This is a token of the peace that me and you and the Roman, your empire has established with the Kush Empire. But she said, listen, if you don't want to accept these arrows, you're going to accept them in another way. Meaning you're going to get this smoke. Take these arrows because you're going to need them. Because remember, the ancestors didn't play. It took a small group of people on code. They weren't worried about a big group of people. It just took a small group of like-minded people, and the Romans signed that treaty. They didn't want no smoke. Because remember, you had cities in the ancient Nubia, that ancient Kush area called Taseti. Taseti meant the land of the bow. It meant the land of the bow. So it lets you know, if you come with the BS, how we rocking. Yeah, the ancestors didn't play. They were on code. They were on code at the end of the day. It was a slave. It was not a slave ship. It was a marine ship. And this is something they keep quiet in the military. USS Kitty Hawk. Look up the USS Kitty Hawk. It was a racial riot. I want to say it was in the 70s. Don't quote me on the year. But the USS Kitty Hawk. Look up the USS Kitty Hawk riot. It was a slave rebellion. Not a slave. I keep calling it a slave. My fault. It was a rebellion, a race rebellion on that ship, where you had about 70 to 80 brothers were giving white folks that work on the ship. They were out in the ocean, in the sea. They couldn't have no backup. And brothers started giving them that work. And eventually they had to call in other people, the National Guard and all those people. You dig? Coast Guard and all those people to end up, and they had to sit down and have a conversation because brothers were giving them that work. It takes a small group of people on code, family. Small group of like-minded people beat Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. It went to hold all of Black America. Small group of people built Rosewood, Florida, prosperous Black community. Small group of people built Mink Slide, Tennessee, a prosperous Black community. Nicodemus, Kansas. Small group of people, Blackdom, New Mexico. Like-minded people on code. Everybody ain't gonna get on code. Everybody ain't gonna be about Black empowerment. Stop wasting time trying to convince everybody to be about Black empowerment. It just ain't gonna happen, family. It just ain't gonna happen at the end of the day. You dig? Make sure you like the video, family. Like the video for your kid. Like the video for your boy. You dig? She said she did it to herself with that George Floyd BS. Yeah, again, trolls and coons like Candace Owens, family, don't feed into it. You give them a win when you feed into it. When you go back and forth with them, you feed into it. Because this is the thing, family. White supremacists and coons, nothing you say will satisfy them. They can be dead wrong on something. No, they're dead wrong. They don't believe many of the things they say. They're doing it strategically. They want to make you waste time. You dig? They want to make you waste time. Like I was looking at a brother like Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is a boxer. Deontay Wilder the other day, when Chadwick Boseman passed away, he said that, rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. He was very influential on the Black community. You had some white supremacist trolls and coons in the comment section. Man, why he had to say the Black community? You had white people, dude, man. Oh my God, you bring up race on everything, bro. You know how white people are. Dude, you bring up race on everything, bro. They're always gonna find something to complain about. Coons are always gonna find something to try to justify the harm of Black people. You dig? And Candace Owens is a super coon because remember, Candace Owens does all this talking now, but when you look back at her early life in high school, she filed a racial discrimination suit against her high school. I believe the county up there in the north. I don't know where exactly it was, but in the north, she filed a racial suit with the NAACP and won for racial discrimination in her high school. You dig? For racial discrimination in her high school. But now all of a sudden racism don't exist with Candace Owens. Now all of a sudden it ain't no racism. That's a coon. That's a coon, plain and simple. It's more tangibles compared to me cooning. I can get something for this. I token Negro. You dig? And that's what many black people aspire to be. They aspire to be the token Negro. Do you know any other black investor professors on YouTube like Dr. Boyce Watkins? I like my guy, and I'm actually going to be working with him soon for Suckers. I believe his name is Dave. I forgot his last name, Dave, but his YouTube page is Sleepers for Suckers. He got a lot of good, dope black businessmen and women on there. You dig? A lot of good black men and women on there who do business. So definitely check out that page, Sleepers for Suckers. Great page. Great page. I like Earn Your Leisure. You dig? Earn Your Leisure is good as well. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check that out because, like I say, business game is very important. Business game is very important. Nothing is wrong with Kanye. All you doing is, yeah, you're just playing games, man. Like I say, we not playing games no more, family. We not playing games no more. It's a small group of people on code, plain and simple. A small group of like-minded people on code. Whoever ain't rocking with us, that's cool. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? We charge you to the game and move on. You dig? But we gotta go, family. We gotta step it up. Like I said, every day. Jacob Blake last week. Our brother, his name was Kidzy out there in LA. He got gunned down earlier this week. I talked about that at the beginning. It was a young king, Dion K, I believe his name was. Dion K out there in the DC area. He was 18. He got gunned down by cops. So now it's every week. The longer we wait, the more bodies that drop. The longer we wait, the bodies that drop. Now I saw some little article out there in Chicago about how gangs out in Chicago, gangs is, remember, understanding white supremacy, gang is a code word for all black people. That's their little thing. Chicago is a code word for all black people. Whenever they talk about Chicago and violence, they're talking about black people. That's their little code word. We call that, it's called that dog whistles. They call those dog whistles. They call that dog whistle politics. So when you say Chicago, that's black. That's without saying black. You dig? When you say gangs out there in Chicago, that's black people. They're talking about gangs out there in Chicago are killing. They got missions to kill police officers. Another con game that's going on. Ain't no gangs out there just out here plotting on police. You dig? Ain't no gangs out there just plotting on police. Shit, if anything, the police plotting on these gangs. If anything, the police are working with them. So let's stop playing. Let's stop playing, man. But that's just a con game at the end of the day. Yeah, sleep is for suckers. I think sleep is the number 4. Suckers. Sleep is for suckers. You dig? Have you been to the range lately? They are not playing. They have underage children learning how to shoot. Absolutely. Absolutely. I missed the range last week. I got to get back to it. You dig? And I'm trying to get me some more artillery. We call them tools down here. Try to add to my arsenal because really at this point, family, when you're at times of war, it's not just good enough to have a basic firearm. You need to know how to use the firearm. You need to have automatic weapons. You need to have all these things because like somebody just said, these white kids, they're at the range early. White parents, they teach their kids how to shoot early. You dig? They teach their kids how to shoot early. They shoot shotguns. They shoot AR-15s, AK-47s. Like that little white supremacist that ran down there, Kyle Rittenhouse, that ran down there in Wisconsin and shot those people. He was 17. He had an AR-15. I believe, what did he have? I think he had an AR-15. They teach them how to shoot early. He's probably been knowing how to shoot since he's been 14. These little white supremacists always know how to shoot. You dig? And that's something we need to understand. That's something we need to understand, family. We got to start getting our babies on it early. We had this thing, we want to keep guns away from them. I don't want my kid to have no gun now. I don't want him to have no gun now. No, he needs that. He's in times of war. In times of war, you don't go out to the battlefield not having a gun. You got to have that, family. That's very important. He said, yeah, 15-year-old in Virginia. Yeah, like I say, younger than that. Go look at some of these kids who grow up in the country, white kids that grow up on a farm. Look at some of these YouTube videos, these gun videos, where you got white dudes talking about a gun. Many times they have their kids shooting in the video. Yeah, my son, he knows how to shoot the Glock 19 and he's doing all this. They say it with pride and joy. Their kids know a lot about guns. They know how to shoot it. They got their own holster. They know how to change the guns. That's why I salute brothers like Derrick Grace. Derrick Grace got his family on it young. And some black people look, oh, why are you teaching them that violence now? Scared Negro talk. You did. You better arm these kids, man. Because again, in white supremacy, kids are not off limits. Kids are not off limits. Kids are not off limits in the system of white supremacy, family. We got to understand that. Got to have your military game tight. Got to have your military game tight at the end of the day. Put some questions, though, in the chat room, fam. I'm going to answer a few questions, then I'm going to get out of here. Try to keep it short tonight, fam. Start trying to keep the lives between an hour, hour and a half. So if you got some questions for me, you want to ask me some, put it in the chat room. A lot of people had a question. Somebody, they like the book. Salute. Salute. If you haven't already, the link is in the bio. Go ahead and get that Voice of the Answer, volume 1 and 2. You did, link in the bio. And then we start telling our own stories. You did. And I know somebody had said one time, what's the difference between the lives and the book? The books, we go into more details. The books, we go into more history. The books is more so teaching. You did, than the lives. The lives, we more so just, we talk about real-time current events. But in the books, we talking about real history. You did. We got to start writing our own history. Got to start writing our own history and having our own books. The Black Panther scared these people coming to DC strapped like that. Yeah, man. Yeah, brothers were on cold back then. That's the reason a lot of people don't know. That's why California passed those gun laws back in the 60s. They passed that in reaction to the Black Panther Party. They were so scared, Black Panthers, who were following the law, by the way. They weren't doing anything illegal. They were following the law. But the fact that Negroes have guns, it's always scared white people. It's always scared white people. You dig? In fact, if many of you don't know, the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, that was actually put in place for the South to keep its slave militia. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that. The Second Amendment was put into place, the right to bear arms, so the South could keep its slave militia. Look that up. They did not want Negroes rising up because it became this thing in the South. A lot of the slave owners in the South were saying, well, we got all these slaves, but they outnumber us 10, 15 to 1. You see what I'm saying? So then they said, okay, well, we got to get this right to bear arms. We got to have these slave militias. You dig? This is so the everyday average citizen can carry firearms. So we got to have this, the right to bear arms. That's where the Second Amendment came from. A lot of people just think the Second Amendment, right to bear arms, the founding fathers came up with this. This was for everybody. It was originally for the South to keep their slave militia. Then after that, you start seeing the early day forms of policing, the slave patrols, who after 1865 became modern day, what we call police officers. A lot of the terms they still use are old slave terminologies like paddy wagon. We're going to put you in the back of the paddy wagon. That's during slavery. You dig? Officer, that's similar to overseer. Overseer became the officer. You dig? Overseer was somebody on the plantation to keep the slaves in line. He was kind of like the police of the plantation, because remember these plantations, especially the big ones, many of them had 100 slaves on it. I shouldn't call them slaves. Those are my ancestors. 100 enslaved African people on it. So you had to have your own form of security. So they had these overseers. These overseers became officers. You dig? So we got to remember that. Any particular reason you piece with your fingers together instead of apart? Oh, that's an old saying. They say that the white man originally came up with peace, and he had two separate, which means we're separate at the end of the day. It was kind of like a trick game. But when you put the peace, you see many brothers put their peace together. That means we together. It's truly peace. We on one accord. We on code. So a lot of people, when I do that a lot, I say peace. But I've been doing it so long, I don't even really notice the difference. You did. So that's symbolic. That's symbolic. Yeah. Make sure you get Voice of the Ancestors Volume 1 and 2. Make sure you like the video as well, family. Make sure you like the video and spread the word. Like I say, we're going to be on YouTube from now on. I'm not dealing with Instagram. I could, if I went live on Instagram, I can have a lot more people in here, but it is what it is, family. It is what it is. Instagram been shadow banned in my account. They've been doing all type of stuff. They'll throw me off the lives. They've been all type of stuff. So, it is what it is. We on the YouTube now. So make sure y'all spread the word. Make sure y'all spread the word, because some people don't listen. I guess when I put I'm going live on YouTube, they still think I'm going live on Instagram. So it is what it is. But we on the YouTube. We're gonna make it do what it do. We're gonna make it do what it do. I don't know. Did you see the white supremacist congressman that posted a tweet about black people carrying guns? Yeah, I did see that. I did see a little white supremacist congressman who talked about if black people come to his city. He was talking about the NFAC, the not fucking around crew. He said basically he had a picture of them, and he said, I forgot his name. Somebody put his name in the chat room. That congressman put his name in the chat room, but he said basically if he comes to his city, he's gonna drop 10 of them. Listen, family. One thing is two things on this. One, always these white supremacists serious. I take these white supremacists serious because many of these white supremacists, they'll try to do goofy stuff. They'll try to act like they're goofy, or we're just this heritage group like the Proud Boys. They'll walk around in clown outfits and things of that nature. They'll look goofy. Take these goofy dudes serious. You dig? Take these goofy dudes serious. It was an old saying that used to say, you kill a gnat, a little gnat, that's a little bug, kill him with a sledgehammer. You did? Take them very serious. Don't play with these dudes. And number two, we got to understand these white supremacists are cowards as well. But because they're cowards, you have to take them serious. Because they're cowards, that means they look for easy targets. You see what I'm saying? Notice these white supremacists. Remember, all these race soldiers, they're always killing unarmed black people. But then when you get a brother like Micah Johnson, remember Micah Johnson, the Dallas shooter, one of our brothers who picked up arms, a patriot. I'm using their terminology, a patriot, because every time somebody white does something, he's a patriot. Well, this is our patriot. Micah Johnson, who went down there and killed those 6 Dallas police officers. Remember that? They had to send in a robot to kill that brother. They didn't want no smoke then. When you got a brother who's armed, who knows how to use his firearm, who was in the military, had his AR, and he was giving those race soldiers that work, then all of a sudden we got to send in a bomb. They sent in like a robot to kill that brother. That's something that had never been done before. I believe Micah Johnson was the first brother who ever got killed by a robot. And a lot of people, or even white people, were like, whoa, that's a little extreme. Like, how long have y'all been working on this? Yeah, they sent in like an advanced robot and it exploded on them and killed that brother. They didn't want to go in and kill him. They were too afraid. They're cowards. They just want to kill and harm innocent, unarmed black people. But when the tables are turned, when the rabbit got the gun, whoa, now let's talk about peace now. Ain't nothing gonna come from all this violence now. No, John. Because when we're trying to be peaceful, when we're unarmed, notice they're real bold. They're always real bold when they're the ones that have the and they're armed. Then they roughing up our women. Oh, they're choking brothers out. They're slapping us upside the head. But when we got a gun, like Micah Johnson, when Micah Johnson got a gun, then all of a sudden it's, oh Lord, send in the robots. Send in the robots. They calling in National Guard when black folks start turning up and the tables start to turn. Oh, now all of a sudden, send in the robots. So be careful with these white supremacists. And brothers need to check him out there. Brothers need to check him out there. Run up on him. You did? See what all that tough talk. Run up on him serious. See, we like to play with these little white supremacists. They say little goofy stuff, and we be playing with them. Oh, man, he ain't going to do nothing. No, take him very serious. Take him very serious. They start flashing their strap, you start flashing yours. We can get smoked whatever way you want to. You did? Because the price of freedom is death, family. The price of freedom is death. Yeah, so like I say, take these congressmen and people like that very serious. You said somebody said black ownership has gone up. Absolutely. Black gun ownership has gone up. Absolutely. As it should. As it should, family. As it should. You said somebody said, how do you retain information from all of your readings? You just got to keep reading, family. One thing I like to do is I have a notebook. So when you read, I read with a notebook. A lot of times I'm reading so much that I know a lot of the information, so I just write down the information I don't have. Or some people read with a highlighter. They like to highlight their books. But it comes from reading, family. It comes from reading. Again, you got to look at your body in two type of ways. A lot of people just look at the exterior. When we talk about being in shape, a lot of people think you're talking about exercise. See, a lot of us exercise, we go to the gym every day and we're in shape physically, but we're out of shape mentally. Your mind retains more information when it's used to working out. Same as when you're working out physically. If you take somebody who ain't worked out in 2 years and you say, hey, go run a mile, that mile down there gonna kill them because they ain't ran in 2 years. Same thing with reading. If you say read this book, they'll read. They be like, bruh, I can't read, man. I hear a lot of black folks say that I can't read because you're mentally out of shape. That's why you can't finish a book because you ain't used to reading. You got to get your mind back into shape. When your mind is back into shape, you retain knowledge better because it's used to that. It's used to that. Same thing with working out. Like I say, if you work out every day, you're going to retain that muscle. You're going to keep that muscle on you. Same thing with memory. If you're reading every day and constantly reading this information and knowledge and writing it down, your mind is in shape. It's better equipped to retain that information. So it comes with practice. Keep reading, family. Keep reading. And the more you read, the faster you'll read. The more you read, the more you can retain information and recite it. You did? And what I do as well is a form of me retaining that information and exercising that information is me writing my own books. You did? Me writing my own book. So I might read a book like Sex and Race by J.A. Rogers and highlight it and put some of that information in my own book and build on that information. So it helps me retain it. You did? But like I say, mentally, you got to get in shape. If you want to retain the information mentally, you got to get in shape. A lot of y'all go to the gym every morning. Once you go to the gym, you need to be reading after you get out the gym, or you need to read before you go to the gym. Mentally, you got to be in shape. You did. Let me see some more questions. They said black gunshot going up. They are moving gunshots out of the city. Then how much we can purchase? Limiting. Yeah. They're trying to put limits on guns and things of that nature. That's why I say we got to get it now. We got to get it now, family. You have your gun game up, and not only gun game, but uh, I'm gonna start taking classes, learning how to shoot the gun. Don't just have the gun just to have it. Learn how to shoot the gun. You did? Works hand in hand. We got to develop a militant mindset for protection of our family because the people who are assigned, the people who we pay our tax dollars to protect us, are obviously not protecting us. They're just not doing it. You did? They're just not doing it. Yeah, they'll get you in your sleep and everything. These white supremacists, man, they'll attack our women, they'll attack our children. They're cowards. But because a coward is somebody who's dangerous, a coward will do anything. They do anything out of fear. You did? A white supremacist, they'll never approach you man to man. You did? Notice that's why many of these white supremacist group, you catch them one on one, they don't really want no smoke. They don't really want no smoke. That's why you don't see these white supremacists. They don't be in boxing and nothing like that. Because see, all the boxers, all the champs are black pretty much. You got one white boxer, and they all portray them as the great white hope. When the playing fields are even, they don't like that. They don't like that type of. You see what I'm saying? They don't like when the playing fields are even at all because they don't really want no smoke. They're always doing stuff when they got you outnumbered. They're always trying to attack easy targets like our women. They're trying to hem them up and prove how tough they are. They're cowards. And these are very dangerous people because cowards are scary people. So they'll walk into a classroom, a little white kid who's getting so-called bullied, and shoot up everybody because they're cowards. You dig? Yeah, Clay Higgins. That's that white supremacist name that's talking about he's going to come out there with a gun. Brothers out there need to check him on that. You need to check him on that. Okay, is that a threat? Or are you armed? Okay. You need to check him on that. You did. They love to have that tough talk on social media. Yeah, let me get a little bit of water. Yeah. Yeah, Micah Johnson is a patriot. He's a patriot. Use the words of the white supremacists. Micah Johnson is a patriot. What's the other brother name? Gavin Long, who our brother might have been suffering from a little PTSD. Because that's what the white supremacists say. I'm just repeating what white supremacists say. Because whenever one of these white boys shoot up something, he's mentally ill. He can't be tried in court. Notice that. Notice that. They go in here, shoot up Waffle Houses. Hey, he's mentally ill. He can't be tried in court. Oh, well, our brother Micah Johnson, he might have been suffering from PTSD. So you can't really fault him for killing those 6 police officers. You did? You can't really fault Gavin Long. After all, he was overseas. He was a patriot. Who knows what he might have saw overseas? So you can't fault him for killing those police officers down there in Louisiana. You can't really fault that. You did? We don't know. Maybe they were in fear of their life. How do we know the police officers didn't shoot first and they didn't announce who they were? We don't know. You dig? Everything is speculation when it comes to us. Everything is speculation. They choke out our brother Eric Gardner. Well, he was obese. Okay, well, we're gonna keep that when it comes to us. Maybe these police officers, maybe they were out of shape. That's the reason they got killed. See, we got to start keeping that same energy with them. Because when they kill us, when they kill George Floyd, then they got articles talking about, hey, George Floyd had drugs in his system. Okay, well, we can play that game too. We game too. You dig? We can play that game too. When something happens to your people, well, maybe they got killed because something they did in their past. We can justify that as well. We can justify that as well. You dig? He said, we are America. They need to give us our due proper. And yeah, exactly. We're going to get it by any means necessary. Yeah, I heard about Silent Toe. I don't know what he on, man. A lot of these entertainers, man, I don't know what they be on, man. This is why a lot of times we don't look at entertainers as people who are community. Yeah. They do all type of stuff to black people. Yeah, in the 60s, they were calling the fire department. They were sicking dogs on our women. They're cowards. They're cowards. But remember, back in the 60s, again, when brothers get on an even playing field, when we get on an even playing field, remember, you had the Birmingham riot of 1963. This is what caused Kennedy to send in those troops. Let me put down this water bottle. This is what caused Kennedy to send in those troops. Look up the Birmingham riot of 1963. When brothers start fighting back in the 60s, something they don't talk about, they try to make it like every brother in the South was just, getting beat up and we were just marching with Dr. King. No, a lot of brothers were giving white supremacists that work. That's when Kennedy sent in the National Guard. They don't like when it's on an even playing field. They want guns and the numbers and be able to harm us. But when we have the guns and the numbers, whoa, now, this ain't the right way to do it. They try to cry foul. No. We not doing it. You did? That's what happened in the 60s. That's why many of us have the rights we have today. You had that long, hot summer of 1967 where you had over 200 racial rebellions across the country. From Newark, New Jersey, you had brothers from Newark, New Jersey who were coming home from the military, sniping police officers from the roof. They don't tell you about that. You had people turning up in college over there at Texas Southern, Texas, whichever one is the HBCU. They had a big rebellion where police officers up there shooting. They were shooting from the dorm rooms. You had everybody on code in the 60s. They said enough. Enough is enough. Had rebellions down there in Tampa, Florida. Everywhere. Out there in Detroit, you had rebellions. They had to call in the National Guards and things of that nature. Black people started turning up. See, when we start turning up, they cry foul. The white supremacists are nowhere to be found then. When our brother Chris Gardner was out there popping those police officers, then they would call in the army. Oh my God, the Negro, we don't know what's going on. No, keep that same energy. No, you so big and bad when people are unarmed. When we get armed, keep that same energy. You dig? Keep that same energy. Yeah, man, you had a lot of people. A lot of people don't know. What was this in the 70s? I can't remember. In the had something called the zebra killings. Look up the zebra killings. I believe it was the zebra kill. Let me look it up. Hold on. Let me, because I want to get the terminology right. I believe it were killings out there in California. A lot of people said you had some Muslim brothers out there in California in the 70s who were just randomly killing white people. I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying they were randomly killing white people. So you had a lot of brothers who were picking up arms. And I think it was a black dude who told on them. They were giving white people their work. Let me make sure let me get, hold on one second, family. Let me make sure real quick, family. Phone taking forever. Yeah. 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 Atlanta, we fought back. We fought back everywhere. Oh, phone acting slow. Phone acting slow. Never mind. Hold on. Let me get my other phone, family. Shit. Let me get my other phone real quick. Yeah, man. But we've always fought back. We always fought back everywhere. I wanna make sure that I'm giving the family accurate information. I want to make sure I'm giving the family accurate information. Yeah, the zebra murders. That's what they're called. The zebra murders out there in California, San Francisco. Look that up. That was in the 70s, like I thought, 1970s. You had some Muslim brothers who were going up there just chopping up white folk. And white people were crying, "Oh my God, oh my God, we can't do anything." Police couldn't do nothing about it. Because see, they cowards. They can only do something when you're unarmed. But when brothers is armed, oh my God, they gotta call in National Guard, they gotta call in the army, the military. Stop. Stop. Yeah, please remember what they did in Philly. You probably talking about the bombing of the Move family. The Move family out there in Philly. They're always attacking us when we got unarmed men, women, and children. But when the tables turn, then they want to cry foul. Then they got to bring the National Guard. They got to bring in tanks. No, where are all these race soldiers, everyday race soldiers on the local level? You dig? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. Where are these cowards on the local level? You did, but that's tonight's video, family. Make sure you like the video real quick. Share the video. Like I say, we're gonna be on here live from now on. I'm gonna answer probably one more question. Let me answer one more question. One more question. The first person to put it in the chat room, I'll answer, and I'm gonna get off. Because like I said, the lives between an hour and a half. We're gonna keep it, you know, information packed, and we're gonna keep it pushing. You know, we ain't gonna be on here too long. And if you haven't already, family, go get the books, Voice of the Ancestors, Volume 1 and 2. Go get those ASAP. Absolute classic. Like I said, start education and informing your mind. Gotta get the knowledge and the information, family. Gotta get the knowledge and the information at the end of the day. Yeah, you gotta get the knowledge and the information. Because if we don't write our history, who's gonna write it? The link is in the bio. The link is in the description below. I keep saying the bio. The link is in the description below, family. You dig? Any more questions real quick before I get out of here? But shout out to the family. Shout out to the family going live every Wednesday and every Saturday. Going live every Wednesday and every Saturday. Yeah, Rayshawn Brooks murders. It's so many names, family. Like I say, we got names every week. Rashard Brooks. We filling up fingers every week. We lose track of the names. Yeah, the chat room is a little behind on the platform I'm on. The chat room is a little line, but we every week, family. Every week. You did, but that's all for the video. Like I say, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon. We're gonna have the alerts on here. So make sure when I go live, you'll get the alert. That's why you gotta hit that bell icon. So do that for your boy. And until next time, family, peace and black power. I'm out. See you on Wednesday. Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Wait, we got a question. Hold on. Somebody said 3 things you recommend for every black living in America. 3 things. Um, Number one, I would say just off the top of the head, having multiple streams of income. Multiple streams of income is a must. Many times our people, we feel racism economically. We feel racism, or we can't even speak on racist matters that go on at our job and things of that nature because we don't have multiple streams of income. We're depending on white mommy and white daddy to supply us. So you have multiple streams of independent income. So whether that be whatever your knowledge base is, writing a book, write an ebook, a paperback, an audio book, anything. Create your own podcast. Use that podcast to get advertisers. That's another way of having a black economy. Use that to have black businesses on there. Get advertisers, things of that nature. It's free to create a podcast, create one on YouTube. You can create one on Spotify or whatever. You see what I'm saying? Monetize your content. Get in the stock game. Get in the game. You see what I'm saying? Incomes that aren't depending on somebody hiring you. The second thing I would say, though, in general, make sure you're militant. Arm yourself. Have forms of arming yourself. If you a brother, you got charges on you. You got federal charges. You can't hold a firearm. Get you some pepper spray, bro. Don't be too ego driven not to have pepper spray. Make sure you roll with like minded people who can be armed. You see what I'm saying? A lot of brothers that arm, they walk and move with a lot of people that can be armed legally. So get your license. You see what I'm saying? Have a registered firearm. Do everything within the coordinates of the law. But make sure you have a registered firearm. Make sure you have your license to carry. Therefore, you can keep your firearm. You dig? And number three, reading. Make sure you read. Make sure you exercise your mind. A lot of our people, you deal with a lot of mental depression because your mind is faced with obstacles that you can't overcome. And many times you can't overcome these obstacles because mentally you're out of shape. So when you're mentally out of shape, you can't think your way out of things. So make sure you're reading. Make sure you're reading. A lot of the answers to our questions are in books, but because Negroes don't pick up books anymore, you still always looking for the answers on the internet. You see what I'm saying? Make sure you're reading. Make sure you exercise your mind so you mentally become in shape. So those are the three things, man. Like I say, mental game on point, multiple streams of income, and military. You did. Appreciate that, guy. Like I say, I'm gonna see y'all on Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Make sure you tune in, hit that bell icon, hit that like button, and subscribe. Till next time, peace and black power. I'm out.